It is the world famous Friday mailbag. If you have anything you want to say to me, say it. You can email info@davidpakman.com. Don't abuse it. If you send emails regularly, you've probably been flagged and filtered right into the trash. Unfortunately, there are people who send us dozens of emails a day, even 5 a day. We just can't handle it. We have too many emails coming in. If you're abusing it, unfortunately, it's getting filtered, my friends. But let's get into some of the messages that we did get. Brian wrote in about an inaccuracy in a video. David, your recent video, Confidence in Trump-Filled Supreme Court Collapses, has an inaccuracy. Chief Justice Roberts took the bench on September 29, 2005. This was after the re-election of Bush, where he did win the popular vote against Kerry by approximately 3 million votes. The same can be said about Justice Alito. Going on to say, who assumed the bench in 2006. While I understand what you're saying about the 2000 popular vote count, the claim you made is partially inaccurate and requires further context. Yeah. So my point was, had the first election gone by the popular vote, Bush never would have been president. And so, yes, this is true that there was another election which Bush did win, but Bush never would have been in the position of being reelected had it not been for the electoral rather than popular vote results in the year 2000. Next email is from Marco, suggestion for 1.5 million subscribers. Marco says, I know you're going to reach that milestone quite strongly. As an act of powerful celebration, I think you should shave your head when you reach that goal. Yeah, like honestly, I would be willing to do that when we get to 1.5 million subscribers, but not just because we get there. Like we'll get there eventually. The question is there anything we can do to get there much more quickly? And I don't know that promising to shave my head is actually going to do it. One other idea that came in from Maurice was, David, on achieving 1.5 million subscribers, may I suggest you do a live colonoscopy on air? Now, what's funny about that is, in general, when we say doing a colonoscopy, we mean the doctor does it. The patient receives it. So I'm going to guess Maurice thinks I should receive a colonoscopy on air. But what he's actually saying is I should perform one. And my specialty is podiatry. I could not possibly do a colonoscopy. That would be outside of my area of expertise, but it's an interesting idea nonetheless. The audience must be very confident in me to suggest that. Ryan wrote in about 2000 Mules and says, David, do you plan on watching or commenting on Dinesh D'Souza's 2000 Mules? My right-wing coworkers have been talking about it, and I'm looking forward to you dismantling the claims made in the film. Ryan has actually been leaving dozens of YouTube comments saying the same thing. Ryan's obsessed with the film. So I watched the quote substantive first 2/3 of the film. It's nonsense. There's really nothing to refute. The whole concept of the film is that using cell phone geolocation data, which is not that accurate, they pretend it's accurate and extrapolate from that there were people trafficking massive dumps of ballots illegally on election day in 2020. There's no actual evidence presented. It's worthless. Don't waste your time. It'll really rot your brain. So no, we are not going to be talking too much more about that. Next, my pronunciation of Bangor, Maine. Sabrina from Ellsworth, Maine wrote in and said, there's no it's or. I pronounced it banger, and Sabrina says it's Bangor. I actually, 99% of the time, my mispronunciations on this show are purposeful. Dan Bongino, Tulsi Gabbard, etc. I actually didn't remember how to pronounce Bangor. I thought it might have been banger. I apologize to anyone who was offended. Thank you, Sabrina. Douglas wrote in and says, argument for prosecuting out-of-state abortions. Could states that want to prosecute its citizens for out-of-state abortions try to argue that it's the same as if California made murder legal and someone took their child to California, murdered the child, and then came back to their home state? Well, you could argue that, but Generally speaking, states can only prosecute crimes committed in their jurisdiction. So if murder were legal in California, generally speaking, if you take your kid to California and kill them where it's legal, and then you go back to wherever, Nebraska, where it's illegal, Nebraska can't prosecute you for a crime that happened outside of its jurisdiction. So it's an interesting question. It just doesn't work the way I think, Douglas, you may think it does. It's also it's a very depressing example, I should say. Catherine wrote in, is miscarriage manslaughter then? David, if fetuses have rights, then doesn't it follow that they have rights to due process? It would be incredibly evil, but any miscarriage ought to be investigated on the behalf of the miscarried fetus. Did would-be mama miss her vitamins? Did she travel against doctor's advice? Did would-be papa slam on the brakes while speeding, causing mama seatbelt trauma? Most miscarriages can in many cases be shown to be a parent legally at fault if the fetus has a right to life and due process in the case of death. Incredibly evil, but it's exactly what they're arguing for, isn't it? Catherine, in many cases, in many senses, it is. In many senses, it is. And listen, we played a clip on our Monday show from someone that Luke Beasley interviewed at the Trump event over the weekend, who said mothers who get an abortion should get the death penalty. They believe abortion is murder. The mother is the murderer. In Texas, they have the death penalty. So that's it. Murder, put to death the mother. And unfortunately, these are exactly the types of things. I mean, listen, last week we played a clip about right-wingers expecting to start to see the death penalty for abortion providers as well. So that's exactly what they're pointing to. And it's quite horrifying. Next email is from Christopher. Christopher says, you are unapologetically using the tools you decry. David, many of us are aware you're employing the slippery slope in your Roe coverage. And yet some 2 months ago, you exposed the slippery slope for what it is, a fallacy. Here's a link to that video for reference. What's up with that? Chris, the fallacy is wrongly talking about a slippery slope. In the same way that appeal to authority isn't a fallacy if we're actually dealing with an authority in the subject matter, the fact that the slippery slope fallacy exists doesn't make it fallacious when it's accurate. And within days of the leaked Roe v. Wade ruling, you had all sorts of anti-choice activists talking about we've got to start prosecuting the moms and we've got to prosecute the abortion doctors. Greg Abbott in Texas saying we've got to reverse the Supreme Court decision that allows the children of undocumented immigrants to go to public school. They want to do away with that because, listen, if you can do away Roe v. Wade, you can do away with that. They're again talking about gay marriage and saying gay marriage was just as wrongly decided. We've now had a dozen examples. So the slippery slope is not a fallacy when it's happening. And it is already. A user named Truth and More Truth wrote on YouTube, I just don't get how someone like Alex Jones has any supporters. How? Who is this stupid? WWE actors are more believable. He admitted it's all an act in court. He could be wearing a shirt that says, I'm fake. I'm using you. You're stupid if you believe me. And people will still follow him. That's absolutely true. And we see that with a lot of the Trumpist type cult, where they could just lie. They could tell the truth, exposing that it's all a grift, and they would still have followers. And you know how they would rationalize it? They would go, Alex Jones had to say that in court. He's not really playing a character. He had to say it in court because otherwise they were going to get him. But he really believes the stuff he says. Now, I don't actually know. Alex Jones may well believe the things he said. I've gone back and forth over the years about which it is. Brian wrote in about me. This loser is still on YouTube. This channel is trash. David Pakman has an IQ of a tennis ball, but that would be an insult to the ball itself. Your channel sucks. David Pakman sucks. He doesn't covered anything realistic. This show is all BS all day, every day, just like David Pakman face is. And then I think that's the vomit emoji. Brian, remember, you don't have to watch this show. It's optional. It's optional. You don't have to be here. My recommendation continues to be, if you don't like the show, don't watch the show. I know it's a novel thing. And also, by the way, you don't have to comment about everything I say. Like, you don't have to email me because I said something you disagree with. You could just go, oh, yeah, I disagree with that. I'm going to get back to work, or whatever the case may be. It's an option. It's an option. It is available to you. We have a great bonus show for you today. Sign up at joinpakman.com. Speaking of Alex Jones, Jones would tell you not to get the bonus show.
Oh, the bonus show where you want to make money, but everybody else that makes money to fund themselves is bad.
He doesn't like it, but I do. And so I encourage you to sign up at joinpakman.com. Get the bonus show. We'll see you then.